Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. I am Mike. Today is the 27th of November. It's 11 a.m. and it's another cold morning. But hopefully the crypto news today is going to warm us up and make us all excited for the week. We have got Chairman Powell is going to be speaking halfway through this week, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. So that's something to look forward to, as it normally brings, at this stage of the market anyway, normally brings some bullish news for crypto and hopefully push us up towards $40,000, which is where I'm expecting us to go in the near future. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to go through the markets, what's happened over the weekend. We're going to look at, again, more influencer news. $60,000, is it on the cards? XRP taking another step closer to being integrated with the banks. We're also going to have a chat about a gentleman called Richard Hart that ran a project called Hex. We're going to go through the chart on that one as well, because it's one of the longest rug pulls in the history of crypto, and I think it needs to be shown and given the light of day. We're then going to look at a vote to cap Cosmos. We're going to say why that's bullish for Cosmos and why it's bullish for the price. Sony, how are they tackling AI? And then we're going to finish up with a new twist on how scammers are trying to separate you from your NFTs and you from your crypto. So we're going to look at some people who've been impersonating Forbes, and then we're going to finish hopefully in about 45 minutes time with the quiz. Let's just see how far we get through. Big shout out to Kishan and Hidden Agendas, excuse me, who are watching today. Also to Ayat and Hikran and GMSAR. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for coming. I hope you're having a lovely, lovely day. Your favorite meme token is skyrocketing SHIB. Well, Ayat, I give out SHIB. That is my token of choice. I give out SHIB as prizes, as rewards. I love the community. I love the SHIBiverse. It had a bit of a wonky launch a few months ago, but on the whole, for me, SHIB for me is the best meme coin. Doge is only 9th or 8th or 6th because of what's going to happen with Twitter or X and Elon Musk turning it potentially into a tipping feature there. Apart from that, what else does Doge have? He doesn't have anything. Even Floki has more utility than Doge, and Floki isn't really a major meme coin. So for me, SHIB is numero uno. Now, before we get any further, I've dropped a red envelope on the stream. I'm going to be dropping red boxes as well. Now, don't forget to smash the like button. Let us know that you care about us as much as we care about you. So where are we in terms of market cap? We've come down a little bit. We're at 1.42 trillion. The volume is sneaking up 47 billion. Bitcoin dominance 51.5%. Ethereum dominance nearly 17.5%. They're coming up a long way. Fear and greed, it says here it was 71. I thought it was 66, but it doesn't matter. We're starting to approach the dreaded 80 for fear and greed, and as you know, when it's in the red or orange, that's when the markets are fearful. When it's in dark green, that's when the markets are overly greedy. We don't want that to overheat too much. Bitcoin has come down to 37,350. If you watched the stream on Saturday, Brogan predicted that Bitcoin would come down to 32,200. We hit that yesterday and we bounced back to 37.7, and we've come back down a little bit since. So we are reasonably good at predicting prices on this channel, although we're not a trading channel. So just bear that in mind. Ethereum is still over 2,000, just under $2,050. Let's have a look at gainers and losers. Terra Classic USTC, please don't touch that. That is the old stable coin from the Lunar crash. That's what put Luna into its death spiral. That should be $1. That was pegged to $1, but it all went horribly wrong. That is a pump and dump. At some point, that's going to come down to 2 or 3 cents, unless there's news out there that I know nothing about. Terra Luna is up massively in the last 24 hours. It's up 31%. Axie Infinity is up. Doge is up a touch. Maker and the graph. And SHIB. There we go. SHIB's not up too much, to be honest, but let's see. Right, 24-hour losers. Blur, Gas, Mina, Ape, FTT again. I warn everybody against buying the FTX token. There is no correlation, as far as I can see, between the launch of the new FTX exchange and the old token from the now defunct platform. So for me, that's a zombie coin, and I am happy to be proven wrong. Still can't understand how it's got a $1.2 billion market cap for a coin that isn't connected to anything. It's pure speculation, and it makes 0 sense. So overall then, it's been a fairly quiet weekend. We're only down 1%. I know we're down 1.5%. We're only really down 1% since Friday. We've not had too much of a bad weekend. And I'm sure Bitcoin is going to bounce back. When you're in crypto, this short-term noise is nothing to really worry too much about. These things tend to happen over time. We'll have small corrections. We're going to have a quick look at the Bitcoin price, and we're going to look at the XRP price as well. But first, we're going to start with the article covering this $60,000 Bitcoin target. And this is according to, who is this according to? Credible Crypto, who believes that Bitcoin might be on the cusp of a big burst to the upside. Again, whenever you read these articles, or whenever we go through them together, just remember one thing: you don't take one idea as gospel. You need to look at multiple sources of information to give you these targets. We've got people calling for $40,000 like me. You've got people calling for $60,000, people calling for $100,000 by the end of the year. They are all either misinformed, overly optimistic, overly bullish. Bitcoin is a massive beast. To get to even $40,000 or $45,000 is going to take some push. To get to $60,000, let's go and have a read and see how he thinks we're going to do it. So he shared a chart showing that Bitcoin appears to be mimicking a pattern last seen a few years ago when Bitcoin surged from $13,000 to $60,000 in a few months. The pattern was also witnessed in 2019 when Bitcoin rallied from 4 to 14,000, and it's about to make it 3 in 3. Yeah, I mean, let's have a chat. So he believes we'll be at 42,500 by December the 11th. I think that's not too far off. I think he's fairly accurate with that prediction. I think we are going to hit 40,000. And as I said on Friday, one of two things is going to happen. We're going to get really rejected at 40,000. Then I'm going to show you where we're going to come down to in a minute. Or we're going to break 40,000 and we're going to reach the next fib level. So we're going to have a little look at that in a minute ourselves. So according to the analyst, Bitcoin's open interest, which tracks the total number of outstanding Bitcoin futures and options, indicates that highly leveraged traders have already been flushed out. Aggregate OI continues to fall with this tight range, indicating we are getting some deleveraging, which means liquid cascades in either direction may not be as significant. This is healthy. I totally agree. When we see these massive wicks, especially on Mondays, we see these massive wicks where the price will change maybe $1,000 or $1,500 in the space of 10 minutes. They are cascading liquidations. And that's when the market gets overheated with liquidations. That's basically people shorting or longing the price of Bitcoin, expecting it to go up or down. When that happens, you get these cascading liquidations where all of the people who've gone long lose all of their money because the price is falling. And then if the price pumps, conversely, all the people who've shorted the price of Bitcoin will get liquidated and lose all of their money. And that causes these incredible spikes. Sometimes you'll see the whales, they will push the price up and then push the price down immediately. That liquidates all the longs and all the shorts. So when you have a market that doesn't have the leverage in it, that tends to remove those sort of illogical spikes in either direction. And that is very healthy for the market. 3 years ago, 2 years ago, we were really leveraged, and that caused some of the massive spikes to happen. And it's not healthy to be over leveraged in these markets. Funding and perpetual premiums have been relatively flat since his last post. I think that dips here may be even more shallow than originally anticipated due to the lack of the open interest. So I quite like the idea of what he's talking about. And if we go and have a look at the chart, I'll tell you why. So as we've said on here many times in the last 2 or 3 weeks, $40,000 is my target for Bitcoin in the very near future. We have been in the range. I'm not going to keep repeating myself. We have been in this range for what feels like an eternity. We're now getting on. We've been in this range for actually 5 weeks now. So my targets for Bitcoin, if I just find the line. So this is my target for Bitcoin, and this is how close we are to it. He is predicting 42,500, which is further up towards this area here. I think that's a long shot to do in the next 12 days. 42,000 is going to be a 15% pump to the upside. 40,000 is less than 10%. It's an 8% pump to the upside. We can look back over time and we can find areas of resistance and areas of support. So if we drag this line down to where we are now, you will see that Bitcoin has been here before. Okay, and if you are fairly new here, you'll know I like to look at previous levels that Bitcoin has been at, and we're at that now. 37.3, 37.8, 37, all that area is where we've been at in the past, and that gives people a fair amount of confidence that we could hold this area as support before moving up. Now, if we look at the bull market support band, we are starting to see that come up. So when we started this pump, the bull market support band was at $28,000. We've had the crossover. The range now is 30,600 to 31,600. Why are these levels important? Because if we have a pullback, everything, if I make this a little bit wider for you to see, if we have a pullback, if Chairman Powell is massively bearish, we need to look at this area right there. In fact, we'll bring it down to that point there. There we go. Okay. So if we have a retracement, and it's a big one, the bull market support band ties in with the previous level we reached in August. So there's lots and lots of different factors that are telling us this could be a good level of support. So for me, the worst case scenario, which I have said before, back down here is 28,000. Because the bull market support band is coming up, at some point we're going to have to retest it. We don't go up forever. But if you look now, this is starting to curve up. So as the weeks go by, the kind of the cataclysmic bottom is also starting to creep up. So at the minute it's 31.5. Beginning of December it'll come up to 32.2 maybe. 33,000 is about here. So the longer we spend at these higher prices, the higher the bull market support band goes. So if we do come down, we would do this potentially. But if we just carried on for a little bit further and then come down, we won't come down as far because the bull market support band has come up to meet us. So this is a really good level to look at when you're trying to work out if there's a retracement, where's a good place to be buying Bitcoin. Now remember where we are. We're just before the bull run. We're just before the halving. We're potentially just before the ETFs. Could we have one last retracement before the ETFs? Potentially. If we do, 31,000 would be the ideal price. Anywhere in this range here is a great price. Price to accumulate Bitcoin. But we've got a long way to go before we get there. We've got the price we're currently at now, which is 37,360. Then we've got 36.5 down here. Then further down, A huge level of support here would be 34,500. So there's a lot of support up here that's been built up over the month, over the 5 weeks that we've been here. So we've managed to hold this, and by holding it, we are building up support around it. So if we do break down, we could see something like this, potentially. So we're not going to do this. We're more likely to do this, but this would require an awful lot of negative news. And as you know, because of what happened last week, because of the individual that has resigned, because of the court case, because of the settlement, we were talking a minute about deleveraging the market. Well, we've deleveraged the risk, because this issue that happened last week, that really is the last FUD that we have in the market. We've got rid of Celsius, we've got rid of BlockFi, we've got rid of Sam Bankman-Fried, we've got rid of the gentleman last week. And I don't mean get rid of them in a negative way. What I mean is, from the SEC's point of view, from the government's point of view, we've got rid of the old guard. And it's not all bad old guard, obviously some of it's good new guard. But what I mean is, we've now got a clean slate, if you like, to move forward with regulated exchanges, potentially with regulation coming out in America with the ETFs. So that's why I would find it very difficult to imagine us coming down this quickly. And we're running out of time for a correction. That's the problem. We're running out of time. We've only got 4 or 5 weeks before the ETFs. So if we do have a crash, could we potentially see something like that? That could be one scenario, where we have a flash down over a period of a week, where we break this channel that we've been in for 5 weeks, we break down, we find support maybe at 34,500, and then we go up. Again, I always say this, I don't have a crystal ball, I'm just giving you scenarios. And I mean, we can go through all the bullish scenarios you want. I still think 40,000. I still think this is the level that we are going to get to in the next few weeks. This is going to happen. It can happen next week. It could happen in the middle of December. It could happen at the end of December. But 40,000 psychologically, maybe, as I said on Friday, we do this. Maybe we get rejected. That is one. Or maybe we just find support back where we are. But we're gonna have a run at 40,000. It's on the cards. We'll get to 38,000. If we can get above 38,000, we're going to run at 40,000. So I'm still bullish on the short, medium, and long term of Bitcoin. Nothing's changed my mind in the last few weeks. In fact, if anything, I am more bullish today than I was last Monday because of what's happened. So just bear that in mind. You're going to change your opinion of the markets to reflect how the markets are working. I was bearish as hell in September. October, beginning of October, still fairly bearish. But when the ETF news comes out, you have to change your mind on things. El Capo, as I mentioned a lot on here, El Capo is still talking about a $10,000 Bitcoin. He's going to take that to the grave, because that's just never going to happen. Now, Ripple. Ripple is another one of my favorite coins. Full disclosure, I hold Ripple. I also hold Bitcoin. I think Ripple, although it's not in its truest sense a decentralized crypto, it is going to be one of the biggest blockchain businesses in the world within the next 5 or 10 years, if it already isn't. So Ripple and its Metaco, they are working with HSBC. Now, remember what was happening before the court case was settled. We've currently got an existing court case going on at the minute that we're not going to bother talking about, but that's happening. Look at what I was saying back in June when I was covering XRP. I made a video about Ripple, and I said that we need to get past the court case. Ripple are going to win, which they did, and then we're going to see adoption of Ripple. So all of this news, whether it be in Brazil, whether it be in Argentina, whether it be in Asia, all of this XRPL technology was being built out in the background. Remember, the banking system has an XRP protocol written into it. I don't know how much more bullish you can be on a coin than go and find yourself a banking system document from the last 2 years, and you will find that there is an XRP protocol built into their systems. XRP has been working in the background throughout this entire court case, and one thing that the banks have not done is they have not announced they're working with Ripple because of the court case, because they don't want to be seen to be working with an unregistered security. Well, the court case is gone now. So now you've got Brazil looking to integrate it, South America as a whole looking to integrate it, Asia looking to integrate it. And you've now got HSBC, one of the biggest banks in the world, coming forward and talking about integrating Metaco into the HSB infrastructure. So the other bit of news, of course, that we mentioned last week is that XRP is going to be used on a trial basis for a CBDC for, was it Bolivia or somewhere? We mentioned that on the show. So not only have they got the banking system to look at, they've also got CBDCs to look at, central bank digital currencies. So this is massively bullish news on XRP. And when we go and look at the price, I am telling you the price of XRP is wholly undervalued for what is about to happen. Wholly undervalued. We could see a bigger pump in XRP in this bull run than we could see for ADA or Solana or any of the other altcoins. XRP could go on a tear because technically it has massive real world utility already. It just needs to be put live, basically. So Ripple's recent acquisition spurred HSBC's decision, ignores the fact that Metaco has been courting the bank for 18 months. There is an indirect correlation between Ripple protocols and Metaco's banking clients. There is an indirect link, we've already read that bit. Ripple, for its part, has worked hard at courting banks with a focus on ways to reduce the friction in areas like cross-border payments. XRPL, which is the ledger, remains one of the longest running examples of a private tokenization blockchain. Ripple, for its part, has worked hard at courting banks. Is this repeating itself, or is it my imagination? We can provide a bank with the infrastructure and the tokenization lifecycle, payments, primitives, and liquidity management, all from a single vendor. So remember what people seem to forget. People seem to forget that crypto, and especially XRP, are not trying to get rid of the banks. We cannot get rid of the banking system. Whoever thought we could remove the banking system and replace it with crypto? It's never going to happen. It was never going to happen because you need banking, you need that infrastructure, you need loans, you need all of these things. Yes, you can get loans on the blockchain. Yes, you can become a crypto-only individual and not have to use the banking system. But you're not going to get rid of the banking system. It was folly to even suggest it. So what XRP and a lot of other coins are doing are looking to connect the different types of rails, different countries, cross-border payments, link it all together and allow the banking system to work with blockchain companies and use blockchain technology to make your banking easier and of course make them more money. That's what it's all about. Banks want to make money. So let's not beat around the bush with that. But XRP is the #1 banking blockchain provider, and that is probably a position they're going to hold for the foreseeable future. Yes, people are using Ethereum. If you look at JP Morgan, if you look at Goldman Sachs and people like that, they've tried to do tokenization of assets using the Ethereum blockchain. That's fine. But when it comes to cross-border payments, when it comes to ledgers, when it comes to CBDCs, XRP is there with Ethereum in a fairly distant second position. Because remember, Ethereum is still very expensive. XRP isn't. That's the key as well. What's the point of a banking system trying to use blockchain to solve its problems when the blockchain solution is more expensive than the real world problem? You send a payment from your bank to another bank and it might cost you $10. You try and do that on Ethereum, it's going to cost you $20, $25, $30. Yes, there's layer 2s, but it becomes messy. Just use XRP. That's the key. Now, if you look at the price of XRP, and we've covered this probably last week, what we have is we have its own bull market support band here. And the price of XRP, again, couldn't get above its bull market support band. It broke out, found resistance, came up, touched $73. Remember, my target for XRP is 80 cents. That's the first target for me. But since the very beginning of November, the price has come down. We found support, but look, we're back at this level of liquidity here, which is at 61 cents. The market for XRP is not reflecting the bullish news yet. Now, potentially, and what I would see happening is I would see that we're going to have a move up, maybe back to the 70 cent range, maybe retest this level here, which is at 73 cents, and then I think we're going to go to 80 cents. The price of XRP appears to still be suppressed. The news that's coming out from XRP, from Brad Garlinghouse, is this court case is going to be over in a matter of weeks. Remember, they have to settle the ICO. There was two parts to the court case. One is, can exchanges sell XRP? Does that constitute a security? The courts have said no, it doesn't. XRP won. Now there is the second element to that, which was the original sale of XRP tokens. Was that a security sale? If it was, how much is the fine going to be? I've said $100 million. I think the SEC wants $700 million. So somewhere between maybe $100 and $700 million, there's going to be a fine. $300 or $400 million is nothing to XRP and Ripple. Pay the fine. That's when I think we're going to see 80 cents. I think it's going to happen. I think we're going to see 80 cents. Potentially, if we look at these wicks back here, 85 cents. I'm not sure we're going to have a run at $1 yet, just before Christmas. I think if we can get to 80 cents by Christmas, that puts it in a good position for the next bull run. So we're going to move on now to look at Richard Hart, who is not one of my favourite people in any way, shape or form. And that's because he is a downright scammer. So the SEC is having trouble serving Hex founder Richard Hart with its lawsuit. And there's a good reason for that. I've been keeping my eye on this because you'll have a... Sorry, just moving in my chair. You'll have a look at the chart with me in a minute and you'll see why. Now, the issue for me with Richard Hart is that he convinced so many people for so long that Hex was better than Ethereum. It was going to do this, it was going to do that. It launched and then it's just absolutely died a death. And again, as I said at the start of the show, this is probably the longest rug pull in history. And I'm not exaggerating this. We'll go through it in a minute. So Hex and Pulse Chain founder Richard Hart's initial court appearance has been postponed from November the 28th to January the 30th as the SEC struggles to serve Hart, who lives in Finland, with the lawsuit. No, he doesn't live in Finland. He lived in Finland. He has now crossed the border into Russia. The SEC is having trouble serving Richard Schuler, founder, best known as Richard Hart, with its lawsuit for allegedly selling unregistered securities. That's not really the half of it, but there we go. The SEC requested in August that the Ministry of Justice of Finland serve the lawsuit to Schuler, who resides in Helsinki. The SEC has yet to receive word he has been served. A teleconference initially scheduled for November the 28th has been postponed to January the 30th. The Eastern District claimed jurisdiction as many of the crypto asset transactions described here took place on Uniswap, a so-called decentralized crypto asset trading platform whose developers are headquartered in Brooklyn. Unbelievable. The SEC lawsuit accuses Schuler of raising $1 billion in unregistered securities since the end of 2019. Now, let me go and bring up the chart. So Richard Hart has appeared on multiple crypto streams, claiming that he called the top of the last bull run. He knows what he's doing. He's in charge. He's the one with all the answers, if you like. Now, this chart doesn't look too bad. As you can see, price has come down, got rejected off the bull market support band, and now it's sitting in the bottom range. This doesn't look too bad, except what you need to do is you need to zoom out and zoom down and zoom down again and zoom down again. There we go. So let's put things into perspective. Richard Hart started this project, let's call it 4 years ago, and we had a huge run up because it was part of the same bull run that Ethereum and XRP and BNB was. And then slowly over time, the price has absolutely crushed it down here. It pretty much followed a straight line, as you can see. Straight line down, and it's never recovered. And let's not even beat around the bush. This has never recovered. The reason being is that all the liquidity that was in the market, all the money that was on the DEXs, that was all taken by Richard Hart. Richard Hart has made somewhere in the region of $2 to $3 billion out of this. And again, I am not accusing him of anything, I'm just stating the facts. He has left tens of thousands of people with nothing. They've got nothing left to show for it. They were all buying up here at 35 cents. They were buying here at 20 cents. The price today is half a cent. They've lost everything. Richard Hart, who isn't in Finland anymore, he has more likely crossed the border into Russia to try and escape the SEC coming after him. He gallivants around in Louis Vuitton. He drives gold-plated Lamborghinis. He is going to end up, hopefully, in the same cell as Sam Bankman-Fried. But again, justice needs to be served on him. And as I said, this is one of the longest rug pulls. This is a 4-year rug pull. He knew what he was doing down here. And he hyped the project. And it wouldn't surprise me if he sold all of his hex in this range here. Slowly, of course. And of course, the price is now down at an absolute fraction of what it was. So if you held hex, I feel sorry for you. You have my condolences. But Richard Hart is I've got to be careful what I say. He's not done this for the benefit of crypto, and he's used his position as, he's used his lifestyle, he's used everything about himself to give people false hope. However, the reason I brought the chart up is to say that there are a lot of coins that you will see from the previous bull cycle that have had this pump, that are currently somewhere in this region down here. Some of those coins are never going to see the light of day again. Some of those coins are never going to have another blow off top. They're never going to reach the all-time highs that they were at in 2021. So this is why we recommend you buy top 10, top 20 coins. You buy your ADA, you buy your XRP, you buy Sol, you buy Ethereum, you buy Bitcoin. That should make up the majority of your portfolio. Yes, have your meme coins. Yes, have your AI coins. Yes, have your DeFi coins and your metaverse coins. But really look into projects that you're going to invest in, or ask us and we'll go and look into them for you. If anyone had asked me, should I be buying Hex at any point in this chart, I would have said no, because there's nothing behind it. He asked you to lock your coins away for 9 years. For 9 years, you could lock your Hex tokens away and get 75% interest. Now, nothing about that makes any economic sense from the point of view. That's 2 bull runs for you, or 2.5 bull runs, depending on how you've timed it. And your money's gone for 9 years. There was 6 years, there was 3 years. It was just one of those projects which, it just didn't smell right. It didn't sit right. So Just remember, there's going to be other coins like that. He's just one example. There's going to be more in the next bull run. Remember, as the bull run comes up and the liquidity comes into the market and we see more money coming in, we're going to see a rise of new people who are going to try and take advantage of you. That's why you need to keep your money on these exchanges that you're currently on. You want to avoid using, if somebody comes around and says we're going to do 1000x on this coin in the next 2 weeks, think about where that liquidity is coming from, because as you're buying those tokens, they're selling them. You are their exit liquidity. They're not doing it for your benefit, they're doing it for their own benefit. Now, this is great news. Cosmos community approves capping of atom inflation at 10%. This is fantastic news. The reason being is that for me, Cosmos was paying an outrageous amount. I think it's about 16% APR, 14%. The approved change would bring Atom's annualized staking yield, there we go, 19%. So the way to work this out is that for every 100 tokens that you have today, you will need 119 tokens in a year's time to maintain the value of your token because of inflation. The inflation, as it says here, was 19%. So what that does, it means you have to stake them. And staking them doesn't really gain you an awful lot in terms of value. What it does is it just keeps the value of what you have the same. That's where a lot of people get confused with the price of tokens. ADA is only 3%. Fine. Solana, I think, is about 7 or 8%. Ethereum, I think, is 2.8%. So they all have different rates of inflation, and inflation just means there's more and more of the coins, and if there's more and more of the coins over time, the value of those tokens is going to drop. We're going to make a video at some point about this to try and explain. When you look at, for example, when you look at Solana all-time high was $250, but it was $250 with a lower number of SOL in the market because it was 4 years ago. SOL has increased its number of tokens by 15%. So when you look at the market cap of Solana, what you want to do is you want to say, right, what was the market cap at the height of the bull run? What's the market cap today? Work out the average price of the coin, and what you'll find is that for Solana to get back to the previous all-time high market cap, it only has to hit $220 or $210, whatever it might be, to get back to the same market cap as where it was in the previous bull run. That's what you also have to bear in mind for any coin that has a high level of inflation like Cosmos. So if you work out Cosmos's 19% inflation, 4 years down the line into the next bull run, it's going to be 180%. It's going to be 80% more tokens than were in existence in the last peak, which means you've got to factor that in when you try and work out how high do you think those token prices are going to go. So reducing this by 5% will increase the value of the token over time, and it will reduce in value by less. That's something to bear in mind. So it did pass, but only by 3%. The proposal argued that Atom's high inflation rate relative to its peers represented overpayment by the Hub for security. This is true. Zero Knowledge Validator, which cast the largest vote in favour of the proposal, explained its support. Double-digit inflation is not necessary for security, weakens the price long-term, there we go, and disincentivises the use of Atom in DeFi and elsewhere, which is true. You're not going to spend the token if you're being paid 19% interest on it. So what you're going to do is you're going to lock it away because you're going to gain more Cosmos from having it staked than you would from using it in the ecosystem. Ideally, from my point of view, you should be looking at an inflation of between maybe 2 and 6%. Anything less than 2.5%, no one's going to stake. If nobody stakes, the validators and everybody struggles to secure the network. Anything more than 6 or 7 or 8%, and you're looking at massive inflation. And that's what you've got to balance out. You have to pay rewards to help secure the blockchain, but at the same time, if you pay too many rewards, you flood the ecosystem with too many tokens. So this is great news for Cosmos. We are really behind. I'm going to get on with this. Let's have a quick look at chat. Hello, Ybaser. Hello, Carmen. Hello, Ayat. Who else is here? Seems like a Ponzi. Yeah, Hex was a Ponzi scheme. You're absolutely right. Matic Polygon analysis. What I will do is we will look at Matic tomorrow. We looked at Matic probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's one of those coins we don't seem to cover it very much on the channel. I don't know why, but we'll have a look at Matic tomorrow for you, Ayat. Absolutely no problem whatsoever. And again, the thing with Matic is very similar to what Cosmos has done. The inflation of Matic has come down an awful lot. I remember getting, I think it was about 12% on Matic. Then it came down to 8%. Then I think now it's 6%. So inflation over time for Matic has also come down quite considerably as well. So one of the big things, one of the big bugbears that I have with AI is the ability for it to trick you into something that isn't true. The best example of this at the minute, we covered the Elon Musk example on Saturday, but Brad Garlinghouse, there's a Brad Garlinghouse advert on YouTube, and it is not Brad Garlinghouse. It is an AI generated voice, AI generated video, and he is telling you about an XRP airdrop. I have reported that video about 10 times. It keeps reappearing. It is clearly an AI scam. So Sony are trying to work on a new crypto signature. Let's make this a little bit bigger so you can read it. Fake imagery has always been an issue in the world of photojournalism. AI imagery and the like have made things drastically worse, because while manipulating images is one thing, creating images from nothing but a thought and selling them as real is entirely different. This is the problem that Sony aims to solve with its new in-camera authenticity technology. That sounds very, very clever. This tech aims to combat the problem by applying a machine-based digital signature to image files at the point of capture. Because the signature is applied inside the camera, it removes any opportunity for images to be manipulated between capture and delivery. Well, I like the sound of this. So we're not going to read it all out. All we're going to say is that basically the two problems we have at the minute, where is it? The two problems we have at the minute is, number one, fake imagery, and number two, fake videos. And fake videos are going to cause as many problems as fake imagery. 2 or 3 weeks ago, YouTube announced that anybody using AI voices in their videos consistently and didn't report that to YouTube would be demonetized and probably deplatformed. And what I think we need to see is we need to see Facebook, Instagram, X, or the TikTok. We need to see those do the same thing. TikTok is rife with fake Joe Rogan videos where he's talking about things that he clearly isn't saying. So I think all the social media platforms have got to come together and work out how to apply a digital signature to real videos to stop AI from coming along and basically convincing you that Elon Musk has a coin and you should invest in it. Because especially in crypto, which is irreversible, you make a transaction and you buy $100 worth of a fake token because Elon Musk has told you to, and because you've paid for it in crypto, you can't get your money back. That's going to be the next huge problem, is people being scammed, and we need to stop it. We need to find a way of stopping those adverts from appearing on your screens, on your phones, on your computer screens. We need to stop that from happening, and we need to get to the point where people can actually trust what they're being shown. And it goes from it. It goes this fake Boris Johnson, fake Joe Biden, fake Elon Musk. They are everywhere. Talking of fake people, this is a new and novel approach taken to try and scam people. So impersonators have tried to convince Bored Ape Yacht Club holders that they work for Forbes and they are attempting to distract during interviews for potential asset theft. NFC collectors share experiences highlighting the need for community vigilance and caution against sophisticated scams in the crypto space. It is at that stage now where people are literally coming to your house and trying to take your NFTs off you, and it's not good. It's not good. It needs to be stamped out. I mean, who is this? Coin announced. I mean, everything nowadays is an AI-generated images. I don't know how graphic designers are ever going to earn any money. Scam alert. I just spent the last 2 hours on Zoom with Forbes. It was pretty sophisticated and well thought out because I'm usually on high alert, but luckily I wasn't caught. Here's what they did. And he goes into a breakdown of what they do, which we're not going to go through. All I'll say, as I say all the time on the stream, is keep your money on the exchange that you're on. Don't send it to a non-custodial wallet. Excuse me. Don't send it to a non-custodial wallet. Don't believe anybody. If you get a message from me on Telegram, if you get a message from me on Twitter, it's not me. I'm never going to contact you. You can contact me, and by all means, I'll help you. You can contact me through the exchange that you're watching me on. I'm more than happy to help. I am never going to contact you. There are impersonators out there that impersonate famous people, impersonate crypto streamers. They are all fake. I am never going to send you a message and say, how is your trading going? I'm never going to do that. So bear that in mind, that this is it can be a two-way conversation. I'm more than happy to help you, but you need to instigate that chat, because if I instigate it, that opens up possibilities for scammers to do the same. And I've had tens of people contact me and say, this person is impersonating you. It happens to everybody. So keep your money on exchanges, use two-factor authentication, use mobile phone authentication, use anti-phishing codes in your emails, do everything you can to keep your money safe. And if you're technically competent enough, buy yourself a Trezor or a Ledger and store your money off-site, off the exchanges, off the internet, and keep it safe. If you don't know how to use one of those, keep it on the exchange that you're currently on, because that's the easiest way to keep your money safe. Now, with all that being said, we're going to say goodbye to some of our viewers, and then we're going to head over and do a quiz. So if you give me 1 second, I'm just going to terminate one of the streams, and then we'll carry on. So give me 10 seconds.